Have you ever bitten into a supermarket tomato and thought, this just doesn't taste like it used to? You're not imagining it, my friend. Somewhere along the way, our vegetables lost their soul. These days, they're bred to sit pretty on a shelf, travel miles without bruising, and stay firm for weeks. But that rich, sun-warmed flavor we remember from our childhood gardens, it's quietly disappeared. Today, we're going on a little journey together, back to the taste of yesterday. We'll uncover 10 heirloom vegetables that big agriculture quietly pushed aside, the ones that haven't forgotten what real flavor means, and that stand strong even when the weather or time turns against them. So if you love growing your own food and you've been missing that old-fashioned garden-fresh taste, you're in the right place. Welcome to Golden Garden Wisdom, where we take things slow, dig deep, and celebrate the kind of gardening that fills both the basket and the heart. Before we begin, make sure to subscribe. That way you won't miss our next story about the simple joys of gardening. Every week we explore plants that tell stories, soil that gives back, and gardens that feel a little like home. Now, let's bring those hidden treasures back into our gardens. Close your eyes for a second and picture it. A patch of rich soil, sunlight warming your shoulders, and the faint hum of bees nearby. That's where we're heading. Because heirloom vegetables aren't just plants, they're memories that grow again with each seed we plant. Each one carries a history, a taste that our grandparents knew, a resilience that doesn't rely on fancy fertilizers or constant fuss. They've stood the test of time, passed down by families who cared about flavor, not factory yield. And when you bite into them, you'll remember why we fell in love with gardening in the first place. The sweetness of a brandywine tomato on a summer afternoon, the crunch of a tender dragon's tongue bean straight from the vine, the deep orange glow of a real old-timey carrot that tastes like sunshine and earth mixed together. These are the vegetables that make your neighbors peek over the fence and say, "Now what on earth are you growing in there?" The kind that spark conversation and a bit of envy too. So grab a cup of tea, sit back, and let's take our time walking through these forgotten heroes of the garden, one by one. We'll talk about their flavors, their colors, and why they deserve a home in your raised bed or backyard patch. Because the truth is, bringing back these heirloom vegetables isn't just about food, it's about rediscovering the joy of growing something real, something that makes you proud when you take a basket inside, brush off the soil, and think, yes, this is what a tomato is supposed to taste like. Now let's start with our first treasure, the one that brings that summer flavor back to life. Before we start our countdown, let's take a quiet moment to understand what makes heirloom vegetables so special. Heirlooms are what we call open-pollinated plants, meaning their seeds are saved and passed down through families, generation after generation. Many of them have been around for 50 years or more, tended lovingly by gardeners who refuse to let their favorites fade away. They're living history, really. Each heirloom carries a story. Maybe it grew behind someone's farmhouse in the 1930s, or in a grandmother's backyard where children played under the clothesline. When we plant them today, we're not just growing food, we're keeping those memories alive. And let's be honest, heirlooms aren't always the beauty queens of the produce aisle. Some have bumps, stripes, or odd shapes, but that's part of their charm. They may not look perfect, but neither do we, and that's what makes them special. Each one is unique, full of character, and bursting with flavor that reminds us what real vegetables used to taste like before everything started coming in neat, plastic-wrapped rows. Well, with that little bit of history in our pockets and our hands ready to dig in, let's begin with number 10, a tomato that laughs at drought and tastes just like sunshine. Let's start our journey with number 10, the Cherokee Purple Tomato. This beauty has deep roots, quite literally. It's a native heirloom from the Cherokee people, cherished and passed down through generations. The moment you slice into one, you'll see why. Its color isn't your typical bright red, it's a dusky rose, almost purple, with a flavor that's rich, deep, and just a little smoky. This tomato laughs at drought, thriving in the kind of hot summer that makes most plants wilt in protest. It's sturdy, generous, and forgiving, a real friend in the garden. If you're planting from seed, give it a little love early on. Start it indoors while it's still cool outside. Cherokee Purples love a head start, and by midsummer, they'll reward you with fruits that taste like pure sunshine. One bite and you might find yourself right back at Grandma's garden table. That same scent of warm tomato vines, the same taste that drips down your wrist as you eat it fresh, salt shaker in hand. Now number 9, a cheerful little twist on tradition, the lemon cucumber. Don't let the name fool you, it doesn't taste like a lemon. It just looks like one, as if a cucumber decided to play a little dress-up for the garden party. Round, golden yellow, and about the size of a small apple, this heirloom is crisp, mild, and wonderfully refreshing. Big agriculture doesn't bother with it much, because it doesn't last long on store shelves. But honestly, that's the secret to its charm. It's meant to be eaten fresh, straight from your garden or chilled in a summer salad. It's perfect for smaller spaces too. You can grow lemon cucumbers right in a patio pot, and their climbing vines will reward you with a sunshine-colored harvest that'll make your neighbors smile and ask, what are those cute little things? They're the kind of plant that reminds you, not every treasure has to be perfect or common. Some are just joyful, like these little golden globes sparkling in the morning light. Now, let's move on to number 8, a bean so beautiful and bold, it could almost pass for a flower. Number 8 on our list is a real gentle giant, the Walla Walla Sweet Onion. Born in the soft soils of Washington state, this heirloom onion is famous for its tender sweetness and mild, almost honey-like flavor. The bulbs grow big and round, with skin as pale and golden as morning sunlight. And here's the best part, they're so mild you can slice one right into a sandwich without a single tear. If you've ever bitten into a harsh store-bought onion and thought, well, that was a mistake, this one will change your mind. The Walla Walla is the kind of onion that makes a simple lunch taste like a summer picnic. Juicy tomato slices, fresh bread, and that soft, sweet crunch in every bite. Here's a little tip from old-time gardeners. Plant your Walla Wallas in the fall and let them overwinter quietly under mulch. Come next summer, you'll have the biggest, sweetest harvest you've ever seen. They take their time, but they're worth the wait, just like many good things in life. Now on to number 7, the lacinato kale, also known by its rather grand nickname, dinosaur kale. This one's a true survivor. Its long, deep blue-green leaves look almost prehistoric, with a texture that's rich, crinkly, and full of life. It might not be as photo-perfect as curly kale, but don't let that fool you. What it lacks in frills, it makes up for in flavor, earthy, sweet, and tender when cooked. And here's something wonderful. Lacinato kale actually gets sweeter after a touch of frost. While most plants shy away from the cold, this one seems to smile through it. For older gardeners, it's a dream. Low maintenance, steady, and packed with nutrition. A few plants can keep you in healthy greens all season long. I have a neighbor who swears by this kale. She says it's the only thing still standing proud in her garden after winter's chill, waving its leaves like a flag of quiet victory. And now, number 6, the golden taste of summer itself, golden bantam corn. This heirloom earned its place in American hearts over a century ago, one of the first yellow sweet corns ever sold, back in the early 1900s. It's rich, tender, and so sweet it almost melts in your mouth. Planted in blocks rather than single rows, corn loves company, and close planting helps pollination. Give it sun, give it space, and it will return the favor tenfold. If you grew up with backyard barbecues and remember butter running down your wrist as you bit into a cob still steaming from the pot, that's the taste of golden bantam. It's more than just corn. It's a memory you can plant, nurture, and taste again, one golden kernel at a time. Now let's move on to number 5, a pepper with a past as colorful as its flavor. Number 5 is an old friend to many home gardeners, the Kentucky Wonder Pole bean. This classic variety has been grown for well over 150 years, and once you try it, you'll understand why it's never gone out of style. The vines are generous, climbing skyward with enthusiasm and rewarding you with long, tender pods that are full-flavored and hearty. Some folks call them string beans because yes, they can have a little string along the seam, but don't let that fool you. What they lack in refinement, they more than make up for in taste. Cook them fresh, and they fill your kitchen with that rich, earthy aroma that says summer is here. Be sure to give your Kentucky Wonders a sturdy trellis, they love to climb. And when harvest time rolls in, you might need a basket, not a bowl. These beans are generous to a fault. I remember my friend Harold once saying, they don't just grow, they multiply overnight. Now number 4, a touch of Italian beauty in the garden, the Rosa Bianca eggplant. This heirloom looks like something painted by hand, soft lavender fading into creamy white, each fruit glowing in the sunlight. It's an Italian variety that's been loved for generations, known for its tender flesh and mild, delicate flavor. Unlike the tough supermarket eggplants that seem to last forever but taste like cardboard, the Rosa Bianca has a softer skin and a shorter shelf life. That's why big agriculture overlooks it. It's simply too gentle for their warehouses. But for us gardeners, it's perfect. Slice it, brush with olive oil, and pop it on the grill or roast it with herbs. No bitterness, no fuss. Just pure, melt-in-your-mouth flavor that'll make you forget supermarket eggplants ever existed. One of my neighbors swears her Rosa Biancas are so pretty she plants extra just for decoration, and honestly, I can't blame her. Now for number 3, the Scarlet Nantes carrot. Short, sweet, and oh so crisp. This little heirloom carrot might not win a beauty contest with its slightly blunt ends and varied shapes, but when it comes to flavor, it's unbeatable. Scarlet Nantes carrots are easygoing, forgiving, and fast-growing, perfect for anyone with limited mobility or who just wants a rewarding low-effort harvest. Keep the soil loose and moist, and they'll grow straighter and plumper with every week. And the taste? Imagine pulling one straight from the earth, giving it a quick rinse, and taking a bite. It's the kind of sweetness that makes you pause and smile. That's real carrot flavor, the kind that takes you back to childhood gardens and sunny afternoons. Now we're heading into our top 2 heirlooms, the true showstoppers that deserve a special place in every garden bed. Now at number 2, one of the most magical sights in any summer garden, the Moon and Stars watermelon. This heirloom looks like something out of a storybook. Its deep green rind is sprinkled with bright yellow speckles, tiny stars scattered across a night sky, with one big golden moon near the stem. It's been a favorite since the early 1900s, featured proudly in old seed catalogs that promised the sweetest watermelon you'll ever taste, and they weren't exaggerating. The flesh inside is ruby red, juicy, and wonderfully sweet, the kind of sweetness that cools you down on a hot afternoon. I've heard stories of children in the old days sitting on porch steps, counting the stars on each melon before slicing it open. A simple summer joy we could all use a little more of. If you'd like to grow your own, remember this: Moon and Stars loves the sun. Planted in warm soil with plenty of space to sprawl, and it will reward you with fruits as big as your memories of childhood summers. And finally, the crown jewel of heirlooms, the Brandywine tomato. If flavor could tell a story, Brandywine would be a novel, rich, full-bodied, and unforgettable. These large pinkish-red fruits have been passed down since the 1880s by Pennsylvania Amish gardeners, and to this day, no tomato has quite matched their taste. The skin is delicate, almost silky, and the flesh, oh, it's pure summer in a slice. Cut one open and you'll see why so many gardeners call it the king of tomatoes. Juicy, fragrant, and bursting with that old-fashioned flavor that modern hybrids can only dream of. A little advice: support them well. These beauties grow heavy, and when they start ripening, you'll want to cradle each fruit like a treasure, because that's exactly what it is. When you serve a Brandywine, whether it's on fresh bread, in a salad, or still warm from the sun, you're not just tasting a tomato, you're tasting history, the kind that fills both your heart and your plate. Now, before we wrap up, let's talk about something just as important as growing these heirlooms: protecting them. Because every time you plant one, you're keeping a piece of living history alive. First, seed saving. Let one or two of your plants go to seed at the end of the season. When the pods or fruits dry, gently collect the seeds, label them, and tuck them into a paper envelope. Store them somewhere cool and dry, ready for next year's planting. Second, community sharing. Swap seeds with neighbors, or join a local seed exchange. It's a wonderful way to keep these old varieties thriving, and you might just make a few new gardening friends along the way. Third, soil love. Feed your soil, not just your plants. Add compost, leaves, or a bit of old manure now and then. Heirlooms thrive in living, rich earth, and your soil will thank you for it year after year. And finally, remember this: every heirloom seed you save is a quiet rebellion against bland food. It's your way of saying that flavor, tradition, and beauty still matter. So plant them with love, share them with pride, and let your garden tell a story that began long before us and will, with a little care, continue long after. We've come a long way today, haven't we? We explored 10 heirloom treasures that big agriculture quietly left behind, not because they failed, but because they didn't fit the factory model. Let's take a gentle moment to remember them. The smoky Cherokee Purple Tomato, the cheerful lemon cucumber, the sweet and mild Walla Walla onion, and the sturdy lacinato kale that thrives even through frost. Then there was golden bantam corn, a taste of backyard summers, followed by the generous Kentucky wonder beans, the tender Rosa Bianca eggplant, the sweet scarlet Nantes carrot, the starlit moon and stars watermelon, and of course the king of them all, the Brandywine tomato. Each one carries a story, a seed that connects us to gardeners who came long before us, and a promise that flavor and resilience will live on for those who come after. If today's journey brought back memories, maybe of your grandmother's garden, or that first tomato you ever grew, or if it inspired you to try something new, I'd truly love to hear about it in the comments below. Tell us, what old-fashioned veggie do you remember from your childhood garden? Was it a tomato that tasted like sunshine, or beans that seemed to grow faster than you could pick them? And don't forget to subscribe to Golden Garden Wisdom for more gentle, soulful gardening stories. Because wisdom, just like a good seed, grows in every season. Until next time, may your hands stay earthy, your heart stay green, and your garden always remind you of the simple joys that never fade.